VF-1A. The VF-1A is the standard production model of the original VF-1 Valkyrie. It entered service with the United Nations Spacey during the First Space War and became the backbone of the military after the early combat losses of the war. Compared to other versions, it is easy to recognize by its four-head laser arrangement. Most regular pilots flew the VF-1A because it was reliable, easier to maintain, and less expensive to produce in large numbers. Although it lacked some of the advanced equipment found in command variants, the VF-1A proved that a balanced design could perform well in both space and atmospheric combat. Its widespread use also made it one of the most recognizable variable fighters in the entire Macross franchise. VF-1J. The VF-1J was developed as a command version for squadron leaders and experienced pilots. Its most visible feature is the larger head unit with twin laser cannons, giving it greater defensive firepower than the VF-1A. Internally, it also carried improved communication systems to help coordinate other fighters during battle. The most famous VF-1J belongs to Hikaru Ichijo after his promotion, making this version one of the defining machines of the original series. It also became the basis for many memorable battles during the later stages of the war, where leadership and coordination became just as important as raw combat ability. VF-1S. The VF-1S is the highest performance production version of the original Valkyrie family. Designed mainly for elite aces and commanding officers, it features a distinctive head with 4 laser cannons arranged in pairs, making it instantly recognizable. Beyond its appearance, the VF-1S includes more powerful engines, reinforced systems, and improved avionics. Roy Fokker famously piloted this model before it was later inherited by Hikaru Ichijo. Because of its superior performance, the VF-1S often appeared in the hands of the series' greatest pilots and became one of the most iconic variable fighters ever created. VF-1D. The VF-1D was built primarily as a 2-seat trainer, allowing new pilots to learn the complex transformation system safely. Unlike combat-focused variants, it featured a longer cockpit section, with room for both an instructor and a trainee. Even though training was its intended purpose, the outbreak of war forced many VF-1Ds into frontline service. One of the earliest battles of the series features Hikaru Ichijo flying a VF-1D during the unexpected Zentraedi attack on Earth. Its role highlights how desperate the opening days of the conflict became, with every available aircraft pressed into combat. VF-1R. The VF-1R is a field-upgraded version created late in the First Space War. Instead of being built entirely new, existing VF-1A airframes were modernized using available replacement parts and improved electronics. These upgrades extended the service life of older fighters while giving them better battlefield performance. Although it appears in supplementary materials rather than the original television series, the VF-1R represents the practical reality of wartime logistics. Rather than replacing every aircraft, engineers improved existing machines to keep pace with changing combat demands. VF-1AR. The VF-1AR is another upgraded version based on surviving VF-1A units. It incorporates additional avionics improvements and compatibility with newer equipment introduced after the First Space War. This model reflects the continued evolution of the original Valkyrie as technology advanced across the Macross timeline. While never produced in the same numbers as the standard variants, the VF-1AR demonstrates how a successful design can remain useful through modernization instead of complete replacement. VF-1X Plus. The VF-1X Plus is an advanced modernization package developed years after the original war. It upgrades older VF-1 airframes with improved engines, more efficient electronics, and better control systems while preserving the familiar structure of the original design. This approach allowed operators to extend the usefulness of aging Valkyries without investing in entirely new fleets. It reflects a common military practice in both fiction and the real world, where proven aircraft are frequently upgraded instead of immediately retired. VF-1A Angelbirds. The VF-1A Angelbirds is the demonstration aircraft flown by the famous Angelbirds aerobatic team. Painted in bright blue, white, and yellow instead of military camouflage, these fighters perform precision flying routines rather than combat missions. Their role is to showcase the remarkable maneuverability of variable fighters and promote public confidence in space defense technology. The Angelbirds became a memorable part of Macross because they presented the VF-1 in a peaceful setting, celebrating skill in aviation instead of war. VF-1S Strike Valkyrie. The VF-1S Strike Valkyrie combines the elite VF-1S with the powerful strike pack equipment. The additional pack mounts large missile launchers, extra propellant, and heavy beam cannons, dramatically increasing both firepower and operational range. This equipment allows the Valkyrie to engage large enemy fleets and capital ships that would normally be beyond the capabilities of a standard fighter. Hikaru Ichijo's Strike Valkyrie became one of the signature machines of Super Dimension Fortress Macross and remains one of the franchise's most recognizable designs. VF-1A Super Valkyrie. The VF-1A Super Valkyrie equips the standard production fighter with the Super Pack upgrade. Unlike the strike configuration, the Super Pack focuses on additional fuel, maneuvering thrusters, and missile pods while keeping the aircraft relatively balanced. This significantly improves endurance during long-range space operations, where fuel reserves are often more important than outright speed. The modular nature of the Super Pack also demonstrates one of the greatest strengths of the VF-1 design, allowing the same fighter to be quickly adapted for different mission requirements. VF-1J Super Valkyrie. The VF-1J Super Valkyrie applies the same Super Pack equipment to the command-oriented VF-1J. Squadron leaders could remain with their units for longer missions while carrying enough missiles to support multiple engagements. The added mobility in space also improved survivability against large Zentradi formations. This combination of command systems and extended combat capability made the VF-1J Super Valkyrie a valuable asset during the final stages of the First Space War. VF-1S Super Valkyrie. The VF-1S Super Valkyrie represents the ultimate standard Super Pack configuration. By combining the highest performance production Valkyrie with enhanced fuel reserves and missile capacity, it became one of the most capable frontline fighters of its era. Elite pilots could remain in battle longer, strike harder, and operate farther from friendly support. Although later variable fighters eventually surpassed it, the VF-1S Super Valkyrie marked the peak evolution of the original Valkyrie before newer generations of transforming fighters entered service.